Have you checked out Change Cars yet? That's the website where you can find your next car, because they only list cars from franchise dealers, giving you total peace of mind. That's changecars.co.za. The Isuzu D-Max V-Cross, which means the top spec model in the range. It is big, it's bold. This front end is seriously in your face. I'd hate to be the guy in front of me seeing this in his rear view mirror, quite honestly, when you come up behind him on the highway. It is there, it's big, that's for sure. You come around the side, have a look over here. I mean, you just need to look at these massive wheel arches, these big wheels, big black rims over here, 18 inches. The clearance you've got as well on the wheel arch, which tells you obviously you're allowing for articulation if you're going to go 4x4ing, which we're not doing now. But you're going to see a lot more of this vehicle. Nice big substantial side step over there. It is the top spec for a reason, and it's got that. We've come out on a cruise, as we always do on a weekend, through to Hearties. It handles nicely through the twisties. It is so typically D-Max, so typically Isuzu, and it cruised through very, very comfortably. You're going to see a lot more, but this is just a little bit of a taster for you. The bold face of Isuzu, you've seen it a lot on Motor Matters recently as we've been working our way through the D-Max range. Well, now we've hit the big daddy of the range. See, the D-Max V-Cross, which means their top of the range luxury spec version, powered by the 3-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine that has been around for years and years and has a reputation for being totally unbreakable, unburstable, call it what you want. And that's what farmers in particular love about the Isuzu range. You can see it's nice and bold at the front. It's got the big black grille. You've got your silvery colored skid plate up front. You can have a look over here. Of course, you've got nice, sort of almost V-shaped daytime running lights over there, fog lights. It's got all the features you want and you expect. Come around the side over here. Nice, bold 18-inch black alloy wheels on this top model again, and you can see you've certainly got clearance on the wheel arch to allow for some articulation if you go 4x4ing. This is the 4x4 model as well. I can tell you now, we have not taken it off-road on this test, so sorry about that. That is not part of the feature of this test, off-road ability, off-road driving. But anyway, you know, we only can do what we can do on a test. Nice big substantial side step over here for you to get up and into the vehicle. And let's just pop open the rear door while I'm here so we can have a look at space, etc., and accommodation in the back seat. I'll jump in. This is a useful feature I really like, is a good handle for you to pull yourself up into the back seats as well. Not everybody gives you that. And let's take a seat. As always, remember the driver's seat is set for me. So talk about legroom in the back for me. Headroom aplenty. That's all good. The pews, as you see, are leather. And you've got aircon vents and one USB in the back. Now, if you want this as a family vehicle, one USB in the back. Okay, let's not be picky, all right. Let's just leave it at that point for the moment. Nice feature over here, just to give you again the luxury touch, is the leather trim on the door panel with contrast stitching. Yeah, it's little things that they've obviously added to make it the luxury version. And I'm going to keep on about that, and that I'm going to be stressing that. You've got very significant sports bar, as they would term it over here. And let's come around and have a look at the rear end. Big step over there, which is useful, of course, for climbing up and doing things when you want to load and when you want to do things, etc., etc. This one's got the roll top cover fitted. Now, I can't say I'm a fan of these unless they are motorized. But heavy tailgate, but anyway, drop it down, you pull it, you do all kinds of funny things to open this roll top. I'm not going to bother doing it for you now, but you can see the size of the buck. I mean, what? This must be at least a 4 Allen buck over here, I'd say. Hey, I'm sure you could fit at least 4 of me into there comfortably. But I think you get the picture. And heft this up. There you go. Look, these buckies are built to take about a ton or so, so there's no problem. I mentioned to you the 3-litre turbo diesel engine, 140 kilowatts, 450 Newton meters of torque, which of course is a stonking number, and you feel it when you're driving. And it drives through a 6-speed torque converter, conventional automatic transmission, in this case driving all 4 wheels. Let's check it on the road. Let's have a look inside. On the road, this car is a complete and utter conundrum to me. It's got, obviously, and I'll talk a lot more about this engine, the Isuzu unbreakable, unburstable engine. So it's got that, and actually impressive fuel consumption, which we'll get to as well. So I'm quite impressed by that. But I'm sure you can hear it's noisy, it's clattery, it's an old-fashioned diesel. Agricultural is a word many people use for it. You can certainly hear the engine all the time. And I find it a little bit, for a luxury top-end double cab bucky, I'm just finding it a little bit behind the 8-ball, as they call it, maybe. Maybe that's the way to put it. You know that if you want a bucky that'll last you the rest of your life, that this is one of those that'll do it. And you would buy it for that, and I would recommend it for that. But the ride, for example, is a generation behind when it comes to sheer ride comfort for, again, what I always call default luxury cars for double cab buckies. And you feel it, you notice it, whether it's around suburbia or whether it's on the freeway. I felt it, and I felt it over and over again. Let's see our 3-point turn spot over here and just see whether this is going to make a decent turn or not. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to do an extra maneuver on this one. There we go, have a look. And while we're about it, just check it out over here. Bring the camera. Pretty good reverse camera over here, I must say. Nice and clear, gives you what you want, but then again doesn't have overhead views and things like that. But there you go, not a problem. But just, I keep thinking to myself, as a pure luxury double cab, I have my questions. I really do. It's got lots of spec. I'll show it all to you. You'll see all the extremely high level of spec that the V-Cross model has. So they've added all of that, but blah, 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 blah. Did you feel that going over that bump? And that's the point about whether this makes the grade as your luxury double cab bucky. When you've got a vehicle that just cries out for country traveling, a vehicle that is more at home on a farm probably than anywhere else, then what better can you do than on a Sunday take a famous Motormatters road trip and head out to Parys and the Vaal River. And that's where we are. Belly full because we just had a good lunch. And of course, what am I talking about except the Isuzu D-Max? This is the top spec V-Cross, so it's got all the spec, it's got all the luxury, it's got all, more importantly, the safety spec that they've added to this model to make it the top spec version. So we're on a cruise like we love to do at Motormatters, you know that, and we'll show you so much more of what this vehicle is really about. Jumping in behind the wheel, of course the first thing I always show you is fuel consumption. Now this is kilometers per litre. We've done 500 k's, 504 let's be exact on this test. 11.2 k's per litre, which comes out at 8.9 litres per 100. Now for a vehicle of this sort, that's pretty impressive. I must tell you, we did do a nice road trip on the weekend in this, so it is a lot of open road cruising, which was probably 300 odd kilometers of the test, and the balance has been urban driving. So you know what, I think you can achieve 9 litres per 100 if you really try very hard. Now I'm going to show you some of the features that are unique to the V-Cross, starting over here. And this is where you get the good, the bad, and the ugly. Can I call it that? Because note, this is active cruise control. Active. Now that's interesting on this vehicle, isn't it? And it even gives you the autonomous steering function over there. You know, one of those where you can let it steer itself in the lane and you've got to just hold the wheel every now and then. Well, I did use the autonomous cruise control, the active cruise control on our cruise the other day. And I was actually quite impressed. It reacted better than I expected. So I was very, very happy with that. And I must say, I thought it worked very nicely. So there you go. It is an important feature, and well done on that. So thank you for that, Isuzu. Now, the thing about the V-Cross model, let's just look over here. You've got your center screen, for example, which is very standard, but really only comes into its own when you do link Android Auto, which linked nice and easily. I can't show you now, but I can't say I was entirely happy with it without Android Auto operational. It's very standard, otherwise I'm not giving you that much, but it's there, and it does have a good reverse camera, as you saw while we were on the road. So that's the important thing. It's got dual zone climate control, single USB at the front again with a 220 volt, so that's fine. And over here, of course, you've got your very standard 6-speed automatic shifter. On the side of it, your hill descent control, and there's your diff lock, your rear diff lock if you want to engage, because over here, of course, is the knob for 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. Now, I think I mentioned to you, I have not taken it out of 2 high on this test, so we're not going there. Let's not discuss that. Now, what this car gives you feature-wise, and where they've made it into the luxury version, and where they're batting in the luxury category, and I've got to call it that, is, for example, you've got electric adjustment on the driver's seat. You don't get on the passenger seat. Okay? Live with it, I suppose. But now, what you do get on this car, for example, blind spot warning, which is quite nice, but it's got a blind spot collision function, which in other words will stop you changing lanes if there's somebody there. And both that and the lane keep assist, which is a very nice feature to have in conjunction with that autonomous I mentioned a moment ago. So in other words, the car can by itself keep you in a lane. I found both that and that blind spot collision mitigation vicious or violent, and a little bit too strong in the reaction. The lane keep assist I thought was a bit oversensitive in where it felt you were drifting out of your lane, and it gave you a pretty hefty pullback. And I just wasn't personally totally comfortable with the feeling of those being as over-intrusive as they seem to be. But listen, that's me, that's my opinion, and maybe if you delve into 25 sub-menus on the screen, maybe you'll be able to set the sensitivity levels. I didn't find that. So the point being of this vehicle, I've said before, I'll repeat myself, Isuzu has the reputation. The farming community, for example, love Isuzu. Your construction industry love Isuzu because they know they will keep going year after year after year. My only question I've got is, would I buy the V-Cross? When you've got vehicles like the new Ranger, the Hilux, even the Peugeot Landtrek and one or two others around who have, in my humble opinion, nailed the luxury bakkie mark totally, whereas they may have left behind a little bit of the workhorse bakkie side. So what I'm saying to you is there are LS and LSE models available with the 3-litre engine, this motor, with 4x4, with automatic. In other words, the exact same mechanical spec, but not the interior. And this is where I'm going to make my statement. Give me a 3-litre D-Max LS automatic 4x4 for 125,000 Rand less than this one I'm driving right now. Does that make sense to you? This one's 857,000 Rand. It's a lot of money in anybody's language. For 730,000 roughly, you can get the same mechanicals, same body, same everything, minus some of the safety spec and some of the luxury. If I wanted a working bakkie, I know where I would look, that's for sure. You do get on any of them a 5-year, 90,000 kilometer service plan as well. So just keep that one in mind. As always, my opinion, but you need to check it out for yourself, drive them and decide which one works for you. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor. See you next time.